Hello, Merry Christmas. My name is Kyle Joseph Preeb. I have come to bring joy and to make a difference in the world. This film is a philosophy educational film for children and adults. The title is called The Right of Tolerance. Our world is full of examples of intolerance as seen in wars, racism, and discrimination against people of color and disability and all types of differences. On a personal level, when people misjudge, blame others, and act with cruelty, they clearly lack tolerance and understanding for each other. The Right of Tolerance shows a better way where people touch each other's lives while demonstrating tolerance in many ways, including forgiveness, protecting others, love, and caring for each other. It will help to bring the chances for world peace for people and bring a miracle during the days of this peaceful world on a calm day and a silent night for all of us. Let's hope that we will be safe and love one another for the rest of our lives. Now here are the quotes. They can't wallow or dwell to hurt someone endlessly. This means it's the best to accept other people and can't judge people or animals or anyone endlessly before you can get to know someone or something or anyone. What that means is it's best to get along though and not judge others though before you know someone, and it's best to get to know someone though to be very kind and understanding towards other people, especially by their differences in other things. You cannot judge a book by its cover. What that means is you cannot judge a person on the outside of how different they are. If you are disgusted by romance or romantic couples near or far from them, keep it to yourself and never interrupt the romantic couples, because it's not only rude, but it will make it hard for them to make it last and stay together in love more often. In other words, it's rude to ruin romantic couples' lives, and it's best to care for the joy for them and let it be for chances to have them be happy together. And that way, when you care for them and what's best for them, it's a way to be unselfish towards them. If your parents and anyone are keeping you from being together in love with someone, follow your heart. Don't listen to them or anyone that have bad judgment, even endlessly, that will keep you from being in love with someone that you are looking for and to be happy. If all else fails, keep it a secret and find someone who can protect it for you. In other words, it's best to not be judgmental and not ruin the romance on interfering with other people of what it's best for them. It's best to care for what makes them happy, not what's best to interfere with what they want. When a person does something that he or she didn't do or didn't mean to do, you don't blame the person endlessly, especially if you spy on someone and not listen to the whole truth, like the bad part only and not the good part only, or the bad or the good part combined with it. For example, forgive the person. In other words though, it is best to understand that when a person doesn't mean to do anything wrong though, a person did do that can be reasoned with, it's best to bring love and care and bring forgiveness to help the person feel better, to be happy. For other people, it's best to be loved by their family, friends, and other people. In other words, it's best to really be with other people just to be happy rather than be alone. So it's best to bring care for them, especially if one feels alone. Honor among heroes that protect you or anyone from any problem or danger. In other words, it's all about an alliance and a truce that we have to accept heroes to join forces and not put a stop to evil. And in other words, though, it's best to really put a stop to evil, though, and make sure that things get better, to do what's right, though, to make a difference, though, and accept heroes that make it easier that we need them to defeat what challenges us, though, in order to save us. If you don't care for the love for other people in order to give them respect, other people that feel hurt, offended, cheated, lied, stolen, kidnapped, not loved, injured, and hurtful and harmful in any way, other people will give you disrespect, emotionally or physically. What that means is, it's best to bring love and care towards other people and not give them disrespect and hurt so many times, because then they would want to do bad things to them. Kind of like the saying, if you don't want them to be rude to you, you must not be rude to them. During war times of intolerance, we need world peace to prevent endless intolerance, so there is no violence or killing around the world or endless blaming. This will help so this will never happen, unlike what happened in X-Men First Class, when the military didn't accept mutants into society and decided to kill the heroic mutants and the bad mutants. The reality, history, teaching, philosophy, peace, and world acceptance of others that has all that the Museum of Tolerance in Southern California. In other words, it's best to really be acceptance, though, just for accepting an alliance, though, and join forces, and not accept differences and think that they're all bad. And that the right of tolerance, though, has teachings of the ways of accepting others. Never push someone too hard and unforgiving the person even at the same time. Forgive someone with love without thinking anything matters in an unkind way. In other words, though, it's best to not push someone too hard, though, and act badly towards someone. That it's best to really forgive them and really help them, encourage them to do well of what's better, for example, like in school, for instance. For other countries, we have to give tolerance, lots of money, and all types of charity for the needy. In other words, we have to give charity and love and happiness for the poor, and for the love and care for those that need help, though, just to make them happy. Therefore, we have to give them of what's important, though, to those that need help. Is what the needy is what it means by that, though, is what the people that need to be saved and to bring need of money and chances that can help them. Second chances are important. It won't hurt the feelings of others. For example, other people that can be reasoned with, even for their wrongdoings, don't need to be punished by anyone. In other words, punishments are very hurtful and not understanding, though, about the love in the heart. So it is best to understand second chances and forgive the person, that you may be surprised that it would help the person feel happy. When a mean person offends and or taunts in a cruel way to someone, especially to embarrass the hurt person, that will fight the mean person. The hurt person needs to not fight anyone. But at the same time, even if the good person fights the bad person, we can't be mean and punish the hurt person. We can't, in other words, we can't allow hurting people, the people, though, that hurt those that need help, though. And it's best to really help the hurt instead of just take the blame on the hurt people and protect them from the bad people that are being hurtful. It's best to feel sorry with forgiveness and cheer the person up who's hurt, including children, like how God forgives for everyone's mistakes and knows the truth without punishing them, even if they fight for protection, because reasoning with them is a kind and peaceful, especially if they need to be treated kindly. That will make them feel happy, unafraid, and loved and treated kindly. So in other words, though, it's best to feel sorry with forgiveness to help someone feel better, even during war times, though, when war offends people that need help, though, and are suffering, and it's best to rather feel sorry for them just to make them happy. When a person blackmails someone on wanting a selfish person to care for other people on doing something good and to a mutual understanding, his or her intentions for other people are good, and if a person is not allowed to do that, it doesn't mean selfish people should be cruel against other people when they need help. In other words, though, it's best to rather have selfish people really understand others, though, rather than the hurt person who's caring, though, to blackmail, so that it's best for two people just to get along. Investigate further until the suspect is found, and don't assume endlessly on an innocent person or innocent people, even if you think the clues match correctly. In other words, it takes investigating a lot, though, to find out an actual suspect, and it's best to not take a blame on an innocent person when clues look like that they match. You have to find out how it exactly relates, though, to how it can lead to an actual suspect, and not just assume just because there's less clues, though, doesn't mean it's enough to find the suspect. So therefore, it's best to make it easier to care about an innocent person, those chances to find out carefully, though, to make it easier to go after the guilty one, is what's best, to not go after innocent people. Everyone should be equal because it helps world peace. It stops jealousy or endlessly jealousy, so we don't hurt someone's feelings liking someone more than the other person. It's better to like everyone around the world, is why everyone equal shows we care for what's inside ourselves without bad judgment. In other words, though, it's best to not like somebody, though, but you can't like someone more than the other because it's rude. It can hurt the other person's feelings thinking the person's not good enough to others, though. So it's best to accept others and everyone else, that we are all equal in accepting ourselves, and that we are nice towards each other, and we are kind and bring love and care. No matter if it's one time kind of thing, it's best to do it more than once. When a bad person uses the truth as an excuse, don't trust the person that does say those words to use people in a cruel to judge others, not to mention it's considered lying. In other words, you can't tell the truth, though, as a way to make it look like you're doing it to be helpful and to manipulate other people to want to control them to unforgive others. That's why you can't use the truth as an excuse, though, to unforgive others. But you can tell the truth just to be helpful and do it for a good purpose and not for a bad purpose, though. When someone can't understand the expression of what it means, any that has the same words with different meanings, or anything you can't understand specifically, don't blame the person offensively, even if you can't understand what the person is talking about. So in other words, it's best not to blame the person of what you can't understand what they're saying, though. Just because you don't know what they're talking about doesn't mean you have to be bad towards the person. It's best to understand the person carefully, like a very kind, mature, gentleman way, and it'll take time to understand about the person. that it's easier to interpret and understand the person. The love of money is the root of all evil, which is greed that doesn't help the right of care for others, peace, and tolerance. In other words, though, we have to care for others' people. We can't just care for money, though, or stuff that makes us greedy and selfish. So it's best to avoid that, though, and focus the love and care for other people, though. And anyway, even if it's a goal that you are looking for, apparently, though, even if it is a goal that you're looking for, even if it's not for other people, though, just try to care for other people, be patient upon your goal, and then when you do that, you can find a time to talk about how you feel about your goal. But at the same time, you have to care for other people as well, and not just focus on money as the only thing. You have to focus on other people, not only yourself. When a person lies and is ashamed and doesn't tell the truth while being self-conscious, but his or her intentions are good, it doesn't mean we take the blame on them and not feel sorry for them. In other words, though, when a person is ashamed of something and that they lie about it, though, it's best to not blame the person, though, for lying for it, though. It's best to feel sorry for them, that they're afraid, though, and it's best to really make them feel better and give them confidence, though, so that they can do better at not being afraid of what they're ashamed of. So it's best to make them feel better rather than being hard on them and hurtful. So it's best to understand the feelings, though, from within the person, that there is good in them. When someone tries to say, "I told you," when he or she is trying to help, then use the truth as an excuse, we have to respect the person who is trying to help in a good way, with gratitude for the person that has done the right thing for them. So in other words, when a person is correct about something that they're trying to help, though, and then we realize the person is right about it, though, we have to really show them gratitude and thank them that the person was trying to help them the whole time, is what it would mean when a person says, "I've been trying to tell you," or "I told you so," or "I told you." Just because it takes time just to understand how the person feels about doing what's right, though, and we have to owe the person appreciation for that person. When the real suspect or bad person uses the truth as an excuse to blame and misjudge or judge the wrong person who might have a conscience, then the real suspect or the bad person, even though the bad person or suspect explains the truth to bring unforgiveness, never listen to the person that uses the truth as an excuse. Understand the guilty person, though, that can be forgiven. When people are threatened, bullied, treated bad, attacked, assaulted, or hurt in any other way by bullies, bad people, a bully, and or a bad person, we have to help everyone along with children, even if principals, teachers, family members, and other people are neglectful and refuse to help others. In other words, we have to help those in danger, in need, from people that do terrible things to others, though, and we can't just refuse to help the hurt. We have to help the hurt, though, and keep them away from bad people or those that have been bad towards one another in any way. If someone is manipulated by company, conspiracy, or anything or anyone else, and the good person doesn't want anything to do with working for evil or doing something bad, the good person or the forced person should be saved rather than arrested / punished. In other words, we have to save those that not only that they are not evil pawns, but ones that need to not be forced to cooperate with bad companies that do terrible things to them. And we have to help them rather than punish them, arrest them, so that they would not be forced to cooperate with evil, and it's best to save them rather than punish those that need help. If someone interrupts someone who explains the whole truth helpfully, resolving, problem solving, and noble protection, you can't interrupt the helpful person. In other words, it's best to not interrupt someone that is as information, though, that has more of the whole truth of what's going on. It's best to not interrupt the person, though, that may have more stuff, though, that the person needs to know. So it's best to have the whole information be explained rather than being interrupted. Freedom will help everyone do anything they want and escape slavery. People's high expectations, bad people's threats and control, and anyone that ruins people's lives for their freedom. In other words, freedom's important, though. It should be the thing that should stay this way to help all individuals, though, bring happiness for them so that nothing can be punished over slavery and forced to work, and it's best to really care for what other people want, for what they would love to do. When a helpful person yells at someone who is rudely and doesn't get in any other way, the rudely person should be understandable and agreeable in a kind way. In other words, though, a person that shouts, though, needs to be very understandable and agreeable in a kind way. To be understandable, though, is what it's best. Just that a helpful person, though, has to be understandable rather than shout in a very unkind way of doing unkind things. And if you don't mean to shout, though, just take practice to lower your voice carefully. It is best to feel sorry for other people or someone rather than not forgive them, attack them, and or kill them. In other words, it's best to feel sorry for other people rather than hurt them, though, and it's best to forgive them just to make things better, so that way, when you feel sorry for other people, it helps them, even during chances, though, during a cold night in the snow, for example, so that we can make them feel better. Not all laws are helpful that are more than one way to problem solve other people rather than punishing them. In other words, though, there aren't laws, though, that are problem solving, but they're all laws that are problem solving. But the ones that don't problem solve, though, should not be a problem. So, in other words, though, it's best to really solve other people's problems than punish them. So that way things will be better, though, to solve people that can be reasoned with, though, and that we don't need the laws to punish them for it. But we do need the laws to punish those that can never be reasoned, just to have them be stopped, about the importance of protection and not need to ruin the lives of others that have goodness in them. Believing that nothing at all is your fault, though, in a dishonest way, isn't truthful to someone else on solving the problem. In other words, though, it is best to problem solve, and it's best to do that, though, that it's best to not lie about yourself, to believe that nothing at all is your fault, though. So it's best to accept ourselves as fault. Yes, we can accept other people's faults, but we can't lie about our own faults, though. So we all have to be honest about our faults, in other words. When good people who are innocent that don't cause a fight physically, and bad people start the fight physically, not only it's best to break free than fight back, but others that protect people can't blame innocent people that don't fight first, need to be protected and to be trusted, so we won't blame innocent people, but to get the bad people to not fight or hurt the good people again, or anyone else, especially anyone good. So in other words, though, we have to help the good people be saved, though, and not be the punishment on them, though. And we can't just fight the bad people, but we have to stop the bad people, but the good people can't fight, though. So the good people just need to stand aside so that they won't start a fight or get into a fight, and it's best to just go after someone that would want to fight and hurt the person and stop the bad person, though, so the person won't hurt the good person ever again, so the good person will be safe. Well, that is all the chances of philosophy. I hope it will bring goodness and happiness, though, for all of you, just to keep world peace happen, though, to make things better. Until then, this is Kyle Joseph Priebe, and I wanted to bring what's best for this world. See you there.